Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you all had a good weekend, a nice July 4th, and hopefully we're all rest and relaxed and ready to talk some more wrestling. But before I get into the main meat and potatoes of today's video, a couple sidebars, mainly some upcoming videos that I want to let you guys in on and let you know what I'm up to, what I have planned. At the end of the week, I plan on posting my next What Went Wrong video. It's one that I've been working on for quite a while, one that I've been thinking about for quite a while anyway, so hopefully you all enjoy that. So for those of you who like the What Went Wrong series, the next video will be up sometime this weekend, possibly Thursday or Friday, so, you know, it'll be up somewhat soonish if I have my way, assuming nothing goes wrong. My next stream will be up next Saturday, at least I'm planning for next Saturday. If not Saturday, then definitely Sunday the next day. So sometime this weekend you'll be getting my next stream. And then the week after that, I plan on posting my next Star Wars book review, which I've already said is going to be me starting the X-Wing series, mainly the book centered on the Rogue Squadron. And my next top 10 match list is going to be up before July is up, possibly next week. So we'll see. If not next week, then definitely the week after, right before the end of the month. I'm looking at my calendar, so it'll be up by the 31st. So let's say that my next top 10 video. And also, Netflix has been very kind to let me know that the next Godzilla anime film, Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle, will drop next Wednesday, July the 18th. So I will be able to watch another Godzilla movie. And because Godzilla is one of my things, one of my hobbies, and because Godzilla is injected into my very being, like it's part of my soul. If you don't know that by now, I'm a huge Godzilla mark. I'm gonna watch it and review it, so you'll be getting a Godzilla movie review at some time next week as well. That'll probably be a tack on to another video that I do, because I can't imagine I can't imagine it'll be that dynamic of a film. I don't know, just based on how the first one was, but it's more Godzilla material, and I'm more than happy to eat it up. I'm just not expecting it to be like one of the more epic entries in the series. But we'll see. I've been wrong before. But anyway, so you have all that to look forward to. But for today, we are going to get into one review, two previews, and it's all centered around major shows that are happening that are coming up in July or have already happened. I'm going to start with WWE, the main roster, because I think that's the one that everybody cares about the most. Though why, I don't know. I have not watched Raw or SmackDown since Backlash. Backlash was so bad that I was like, you know what? I'm going to step away from main roster WWE for a while, because it's just driving me insane. From what I've heard, I haven't missed much in terms of Raw or SmackDown. I've missed a couple of really good Seth Rollins matches, but other than that, I haven't. There's nothing to write home about. Again, that's what I've been told. But we do have Extreme Rules coming up this Sunday, and I don't know what the full card is, so I have it pulled up right here. I'm going to read it to you guys and preview it based on the limited knowledge that I have of what's going on Raw or SmackDown these days. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll feel compelled to watch it on Sunday. I doubt it, but, you know, let's see if they've got something that I want to go out of my way to see. All right, on the pre-show, we have a tables match. Why wouldn't you put that on? I guess it doesn't matter if it's all on the network anyway, but like that feels weird that the tables match is the one that's not on the main card. But anyway, it's the New Day versus Sanity. Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods taking on Eric Young, Alexander Wolf, and Killian Dane. From what I've been told, the WWE has barely done anything with Sanity since they've been on the main roster, which begs the question, why did you move them up from NXT if you didn't know what to do with them? I don't know. They're just going to do what they want. I would think Sanity would win this since they're new, they're fresh. You know, they're on the main roster now, and you want to build up some heels. I would think Sanity would win this, but I've been wrong before. Then going on to the main card, looking over this. Okay, we have Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. I don't care about that at all. That's, wow. No, that is just a very uninteresting match. No knock on either guy. I just, they weren't doing anything that spectacular with them when I was watching, and I can't imagine that that's changed. I know Baron Corbin is the Constable now, which is just downright silly. Yeah, I just don't care. I would think Finn would win, but wow, I really don't care. Then we have for the SmackDown Women's Championship, we've got Carmella defending against Asuka. I feel like we already got this match at the last pay-per-view, which I didn't watch, so I guess it doesn't matter. Now, you would think, because this is Extreme Rules and they like to gimmick these things up, typically with Extreme Rules, they like to really, really gimmick it up. Right here, you have a situation where James Ellsworth screwed Asuka out of the title at the last pay-per-view, and Carmella holds a win over Asuka. That sounds completely insane to me, but whatever. Now, you would think that for the gimmick match pay-per-view, there would be some kind of a stipulation preventing James Ellsworth from interfering on Carmella's behalf this time around to ensure that it's a fair fight. They didn't do that. It's just a regular match, so it just feels like we're getting the same match again. But again, I didn't watch the first one, so who knows? I guess Carmella retains. I mean, they're just gonna... This just feels like they're just spoon-feeding us the same match, so, meh. Alright, then for the Raw Tag Team Championships, we got Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt defending against the B Team. How the hell is that not the pre-show match? Whatever. Yeah, Hardy and Wyatt retain. I don't really care. Then we have... an Extreme Rules match for the Raw Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss defending against Nia Jax. So Nia's a face again? Is that what's going on here? I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of their Mania match. There was a lot of forced emotion in that one. Like, Nia's like, oh, you were my best friend, and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And they were trying to go for that kind of Shawn Michaels, I'm sorry, I love you type of moment with this match, and it just didn't, the feud didn't feel like it deserved a moment like that, so it just felt really forced and hammy. And here, I just don't care. I'm just biding my time until Ronda Rousey faces Alexa and probably destroys her. I would think Alexa would retain here. I can't imagine they would have Nia win back the title right after she lost it. Then this is kind of a neat attraction. We've got the Bludgeon Brothers defending the SmackDown Tag Team Championship against the returning Team Hell No. Yeah, that might be okay. That might be fine. I mean, Kane bores me to tears these days, but the idea of putting him with Daniel Bryan as like a fun, like, oh, that's cute, they're back together. That's kind of neat. That's neat. I like things that are neat, but is that enough to get me to tune into the show? I don't know. And Daniel Bryan's going to have a lot of question marks surrounding him, especially after, I was informed while I was doing the stream on Saturday, I was informed that Daniel Bryan apparently went on an interview show and made some not-so-kind comments about WWE Creative, which obviously is going to get us speculating. It's like, oh, God, he's not going to resign. He's going to leave the first chance he gets. So, but I don't know. I think they might give the belts to Team Hell No just to keep Bryan happy, because I don't think they want him to leave. I think they want to keep him. I would think, right? Right? Okay, then we have for the United States Championship, we've got Jeff Hardy defending against Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I'd heard that Nakamura was hurt, so I guess it wasn't that severe because he's back already. I mean, this might be an okay match. The match might be fine. It's just that AJ feud did a lot to get me to care less and less about Shinsuke Nakamura, and that's no fault of... Yeah, I'm not blaming AJ. I'm not blaming Nakamura. It's just poor storytelling, and the repetitive matches just made me sick of seeing him, which is a shame because I like the heel turn at WrestleMania, but they didn't go anywhere that good with it, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'm going to pick Nakamura to win as sort of a consolation prize for not winning the WWE title off of AJ. And that is that. And then we have Dolph Ziggler defending the Intercontinental Championship in a 30-minute Iron Man match against Seth Rollins. That sounds good, except for the fact that Seth's matches typically go about 18 to 20 minutes anyway, so a 30-minute match isn't really that extreme. Like, I don't know, like, now if you want to do an hour-long match, you'd be like, ooh, that might be something, but 30 minutes, I mean, for those guys, it's like, that's almost nothing. They could, I mean, they could sleepwalk through a 30-minute match if they wanted to. But that should be the match of the night, just looking at this card. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I'm going to guess that it's going to end in a draw, and Seth is going to save face somehow, because I think they're going to move him up to eventually face Lesnar at some point, or possibly work him into the title picture at SummerSlam. I mean, all of us think that they're dead set on just doing Roman versus Lesnar again, but I think they're going to, just to kind of soften the blow, because they know that those Roman Lesnar matches are getting crapped on. I think guys like Strowman and Rollins might get involved, might get into the mix to kind of help the main event scene at SummerSlam. But again, we shall see. Okay, and I think next is... let's do a WWE title match, because this one's... this one's funny. AJ Styles defending against Rusev. So I love this. They're rewarding Rusev for getting over. That's what this is. They're totally giving him a reward for getting over, and that's great. That's fine and all. The problem is that when he got over initially, they tried to squash it, and they did everything in their power to like make Rusev look like a chump. But now it's like, oh, okay, let's just go with it, and now they're giving him a title shot. He's not going to win. I would be very surprised if he did. I'm proud of Rusev for being able to like stay over despite bad booking multiple times. I mean, he got fed through the John Cena meat grinder. So, yeah, I'm good for Rusev for getting this spot, but there's not a lot of intrigue here because they've done such a poor job of building him up and getting him ready for this spot. It's like, man, could you imagine if he got over in December of last year or whenever it was that the Rusev Day thing really caught on? And then they built him up slowly for like 5 or 6 months and then gave us this match. Holy shit, this would be like, oh my God, this would be amazing. AJ's going up against that guy who's been on fire for 6 months. But now it's, hey, AJ's up against that guy that the fans cheer for, but he never wins. So, bippity bappity boop. And that's it. That's all we got. So, okay, that's a match that's happening. AJ's going to retain. I would be very surprised if Rusev won the title, especially since I think with AJ as champion, they want to do matches with Joe, which that's going to be weird. Fuck me. AJ Styles and Samoa Joe fighting for the WWE title. If you'd asked me that was possible in 2005, I never would have thought of it. And I think they want to do Daniel Bryan versus AJ at some point as well. They should be setting up Bryan versus Miz, but for some reason they don't seem overly interested. I mean, that should be next year's Mania match, I think. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, but they don't seem overly interested in doing that. Where's Miz? He's not even on this card. That seems... I mean, I don't mind leaving guys off the card. It just feels strange that, you know, the B Team and the Bludgeon Brothers and Baron Corbin are all on the card, and yet poor Miz is nowhere to be seen. That's weird. I mean, he might be off TV for some reason. I don't know. Again, I haven't been watching, so he might be injured. I don't know. How would I know? All right, next up, we have a steel cage match. Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. I hear that the build-up for this has been absolutely dreadful. I've been told that the porta potty segment, I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. The porta potty segment from Monday Night Raw this week was absolutely dreadful. People have told me that it's like one of the worst segments in recent memory, which I feel like that statement gets thrown around a lot, and I don't know how legitimate that is, but from what was described to me, it sounded pretty bad, so I was like, ooh, yeah, I'm not unhappy. I'm not unhappy that I skipped Raw this week. Yeah, Strowman wins. Strowman wins. And that's that. It's just Strowman wins. I don't really... Yeah. I mean, it's good that they're booking Strowman to be strong, but they've kind of worked him into that... I mean, like the Porta Potty segment, they've got him into that comedy babyface. Oh, I'm here for the yucks, too. And I don't really like it. So, I mean, what was wrong with him just being a badass that hurt people? I mean, that seemed to be what got him over in the first place, but... Anyway, and the match that I actually would not be surprised if was the closer to the pay-per-view. Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. I don't know what the feud is. I don't know what they're feuding about. I have absolutely no idea what the story is. I know it was supposed to be like a multi-man contenders match, and then they changed it to just Reigns versus Lashley for some reason. I don't care. I don't care either way. If they get another walkout, I wouldn't be surprised. Lashley hasn't exactly been setting the world on fire since he's been back, at least not based on what I saw. The little I've seen, maybe he's gotten super interesting in the last month and a half or so, who knows. But Lashley wasn't setting the world on fire, and Reigns is just going to win, so I don't care. I don't care. No. And that's Extreme Rules. I'm looking at this card, and Maybe the 30-minute Iron Man match will be really good, but other than that, I'm just like, you know, maybe the Team Hell No match will be fun just because it's Team Hell No. Other than that, there's just nothing here that makes me want to go out of my way to see the pay-per-view. Styles and Rusev will probably be good in spite of a shitty build-up. For Rusev, I expect the crowd to be really into that one just because they love Rusev. It's just a shame that they don't have the story to really back it up. But, yeah, there's just nothing here that jumps out at me. It's like, oh, I've got to see that. It's like, no, I'll just keep watching Clash of Champions and Saturday night's main event. I think I'll be okay. So that's my preview for Extreme Rules 2018. Sounds wonderful. Now, I'm going to review a show that I really enjoyed, and that's the New Japan G1 special from San Francisco. It happened this weekend. It actually was in progress while I was doing my live stream of Saturday night's main event and Clash of Champions. So a lot of stuff to talk about here. Overall, I really enjoyed the show. A lot of really good matches. A really insane ending that I definitely want to talk about. If I have any criticisms, I guess my two big ones are the commentary, Josh Barnett and Jim Ross. Particularly Jim Ross, just don't sound very lively at the booth. You know, Ross was getting names wrong, and he just doesn't sound very enthused about what he's watching. And it really contrasts because I was watching the Clash of Champions that he commentated for, Clash of Champions 17, with the whole Sting angle, and is he going to make it in there for his match with Rude, and the tag title match where Ricky Steamboat came back. And JR was great during that show. And that's not even his best work. I think we all know him. His best work is during the Attitude Era, being the voice of Monday Night Raw. I don't know if he's just not interested. I don't know if he's bored, or maybe he's just getting old. I mean, that just might be the case. Jim Ross might just be getting... maybe he can't put forth that same level of energy that he used to. I still love the guy. I've got nothing against him. But the liveliest he was the entire night was that spot where in the Juice Robinson Jay White match where the announcers got knocked over and Josh Barnett got legitimately pissed and JR sounded legitimately pissed at the booth and started saying, they need to get the shit together. By God, they need to get their shit together. What a load of shit. That was the liveliest he was the whole night. It was legitimate anger. So it's... yeah, I heard he also got hurt on the bump too, so that was very, very poor planning. I guess that'll lead into my next complaint. There was a spot in the Takahashi Dragon Lee match that was very, very dangerous and injured Takahashi. And, you know, I know strong style, we expect like that hard-hitting action and everything, but guys, sometimes you don't have to put yourself in harm's way to that degree. And there were a few spots on this show that made me cringe a little bit because I thought somebody was going to get hurt. And it's like, you know, guys, we'll be perfectly entertained. You don't have to kill yourself with some of these spots. Some of these spots are really, really dangerous. And that was kind of a scary moment because Hiromu looked like he just came down on his head. By the sound of it, I've heard he's okay, which is, you know, it's not like an Austin at SummerSlam 97 situation, but... It was still pretty bad. It's like sometimes New Japan overexerts themselves trying to like do big moves and crazy stuff. It's like you really don't have to do it, especially if it's a really dangerous spot where you're coming down on your head. You know, you don't have to do it. But in any case, those are really my only knocks on the show. Everything else I pretty much enjoyed. We opened up with a 10-man tag, the Bullet Club taking on Chaos. Members of the Bullet Club included Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, their father King Haku, the legendary Haku, formerly Ming of WCW as well, Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens, and members of Chaos were Yoshihashi, Gato, Rocky Romero, Yo, and Sho, Roppongi 3K. This was a good, solid opener. I thought Haku added a little bit to the match. It was just an different added flavor. He looks old, but it's a 10-man tag, so all he had to do was go in there, hit a couple spots. He hit a pile driver at one point. He did the Tongan death grip at one point to set up the finish, and it's like, oh, that's all fine. That's all cool. It was just a good, solid, fun opener. The younger guys got to bounce around and do their spots. Gato got to be the one to take the fall, which wasn't a surprise. Overall, just a good, solid opener, and I marked out a little bit for Haku. Yes, I did. And little did we know this match was actually setting up the events for the end of the show, but I'll get there when I get there. Next up was a tag team match. We actually had we had a couple tag matches that were like this, where it was like a heavyweight guy and more of a junior heavyweight guy from a faction teaming up against a heavyweight guy and a more junior heavyweight guy of a different faction. I guess that's not so much the case here because Yano, I don't think anybody would mistake Yano for a junior heavyweight, but there was that kind of theme here with some of the tag matches. I kind of liked it. For Chaos, we had Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano taking on members of Suzuki Gun, Minoru Suzuki, and Zack Sabre Jr. A couple of things about this match. I enjoyed it. Yano and Suzuki still have great chemistry. I love, and it's just such an, the thing about Yano, because I feel like the internet shits on him. I love Yano, and this is where I like the sports entertainment aspect, where a lot of people on the internet kind of shit on it. He's a guy, his whole gimmick, his whole character is that he's basically a super shitty wrestler, but he cheats and he finds these ways to sneak out victories over guys that he has no business beating. And I think that's hilarious. I think it's comedy gold. So I like Yano a lot. Like I said, I think he has great chemistry with Suzuki. Turns out he has great chemistry with Zack Sabre Jr. too, because this is the second time I've seen them go at it. And I think they've got good chemistry where Sabre Jr. is a little bit more wily and a little smarter than Yano and is able to outsmart him. Like whenever Yano goes for a low blow, he blocks it with his leg by closing his legs together and turns it into a submission hold or something like that. So all that stuff is really fun, and I enjoy Yano for what he is. Also, Ishii and Suzuki beating the shit out of each other is awesome. I think we're probably going to get that match at Wrestle Kingdom, if I had to guess. That's going to be one of the big singles matches. I'm totally down for that. Watch those two like brawl all over the place would be great. I thought this match was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. Chaos got the win with Yano pinning Zack Sabre Jr., which sounds like sacrilege. But again, it's like, that's the funny thing. That's why Yano gets these wins over people he has no business beating, and it's kind of funny. And they're able to get some good material out of it, because he did that to Suzuki as well in the past. And then when Suzuki finally got him in a situation where he could beat the crap out of him, he would beat the ever-living crap out of him, and it would be super funny as well. So, again, I like what Yano offers, and, you know, comedy characters are fine as long as they're actually funny. There's a reason why Toru Yano is one that I enjoy, and why someone like Captain New Japan I just look at and go, I don't get this character. Like, that's not funny, and I don't get what it's supposed to be. Next up, we had another tag team match. Bullet Club members Hangman Page and Marty the Villain Skrull taking on members of Taguchi Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Kushida. A really, really good match, as you would expect. Hangman Page, you know, he's worked well with Kota Ibushi, he's worked well with Kenny Omega, and now we see him working with Hiroshi Tanahashi, and he holds his own really well against the top guys. And Hangman Page just keeps getting better and better. Skrull and Kushida always do good work together. Skrull is just... He works well with just about everybody he works with. I think he's great. And this was just an overall very entertaining match. The Bullet Club surprisingly got the win here. Because, you know, you think, oh, Hangman Page and Marty, they're not quite on the same level as Tanahashi, and at least not in New Japan. And then they went over in this match. I'm like, oh, shit. Wow, okay, that's interesting. So, yeah, just another enjoyable match involving a bunch of guys I like. Then we had our first singles match of the evening, Hiroki Goto defending the Never Openweight Championship against Jeff Cobb. Now, I would advocate for them either getting rid of the Never Openweight title or unifying it with the US title or something like that, because I feel like New Japan has way too many singles titles. However, the Never Openweight belt has always had a reputation as like, all right, the matches are typically these stiff slugfests, and I enjoy those matches. They could just as easily do those matches with the US title, but there is that kind of like excitement with the Never Openweight matches because I kind of know what I'm getting and I kind of enjoy what I get out of them. And this was no exception. You had Hiroki Goto taking on Jeff Cobb, who, for you Lucha Underground fans out there, is the monster Matanza. And it was really nice to see Jeff Cobb work without playing the gimmick. I enjoy Matanza. I like the character. I like the gimmick. But there are a lot of questions and fascinations like, oh, I wonder how he works without playing the character, because I've never seen him unmasked before. And here, I thought it was a really good, hard-hitting match with Jeff Cobb doing some of his crazy stuff, like standing moonsaults and standing shooting star prests, and both guys just laying into each other, beating the crap out of each other. Very good. It was a pretty good match. Good first singles match on the show. Good first championship match on the show. It was just a really good, solid match, and Hiroki Goto keeps rolling as Never Openweight champion. He ultimately got the win. Next up for the IWGP Tag Team Championships, we had the Young Bucks defending against Evil and Sonata of LIJ. You know, their match at Dominion was very good. And I thought this match was very good. I think I liked the Dominion match more because that was the one that had the title change. But overall, you know, the Bucks continue to roll, man. They just keep getting better and better, and they're just so over that every match they have almost feels like a party. It's just, they're just great, and they're one of the best attractions out there in pro wrestling today. And I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a great first title defense for them. And Evil and Sonata continue to look really, really good as a team. And fill out the ranks of LIJ more than adequately. I think they're fantastic. And yeah, I just thought that was a really good, entertaining match, and a nice match to have right before the intermission, or kind of the brief break that we had. Then after the break, we had another tag team match, Chaos taking on LIJ, Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay taking on Tetsuya Naito and Bushi. Very entertaining match. Again, you get to see Will Ospreay flip around a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, and you get to see Okada and Naito go at it again. And they have really good chemistry with each other, and it was a really, it was a nice treat to see them work with each other again, especially considering how strong their Wrestle Kingdom main event match was. This is the first time I've seen them lock horns since then, so it's like, ooh, this is cool. The only one who... Bushi was there to eat the pin, and that was obvious, but because it was obvious that he was the one eating the pin, he almost looked out of place here. It was like, he doesn't really have any star potential compared to everyone else. I mean, you look at Okada, you look at Ospreay, you look at Naito, these guys, they're fucking stars. Bushi, he's just kind of one of the other guys in LIJ. He's the toady in LIJ that's not Sonata. Sonata, who I think is kind of the star of Naito's underlings there. And Evil at least has a really good look. Bushi is just, he's just another mask guy. Not bad, he's just kind of just there. And the fact that he was in this match just made it obvious who was going to eat the pin. Bushi did, but it was still an entertaining match, and I did enjoy it. And again, I'll never be opposed to seeing more of Okada or more of Naito. Those guys are really something special. And then Will Ospreay, that guy continues to be quite the human highlight reel, and I do enjoy him. All right, next up, we close out the show with 3 straight singles title matches. The first one is one I've already touched up on a little bit. Hiromu Takahashi successfully defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title against Dragon Lee. Renewal of their feud that has happened in other companies. And a nice fresh match for the Junior Heavyweight division. Typically, it's some mix of Takahashi, Ospreay, Kushida, or Skrull. So throwing Dragon Lee in there, who's really good and really a great athlete, I think it continues their feud that spreads across different companies, but also gives the New Japan audience kind of a fresh match for the Junior Heavyweight title. I thought it was very good, except for that one spot I talked about, which was a little dangerous. I thought it was a very good athletic match where both guys went out there and just had put on a hell of a show. I thought it was a very good cruiserweight style match, and the type of thing, you know, that you want to see out of a Junior Heavyweight title match. It's fast-paced, you got great action, lots of high-flying, crazy stuff, and both guys looked like stars by the time it was over. So can't ask for anything more than that. I just hope that Hiromu Takahashi is okay and they don't do any more crazy stuff like that. And then next up, we had the United States Heavyweight Championship, Jay White defending against Juice Robinson. I already talked about the one spot with JR and Josh Burnett, so I won't talk about it too much. What I will say, I've been really down on Switchblade Jay White. I feel like it's a character that has potential, but I just haven't... Jay White just hasn't won me over, and I haven't seen a match where he's really stood out and made me believe that he's capable of carrying the character. This is the best Jay White match I've ever seen. Not so much because of him or anything that he did differently, but because the crowd was so into Juice Robinson, and his story was a feel-good one where this guy left NXT to go to New Japan and carve a new path for himself, and now here he is fighting for one of the top championships in New Japan, and can he win it? And you had a clear babyface, a clear heel, and I think that dynamic, and the fact that the crowd was into Juice, I think that dynamic made the match more exciting and more interesting, and way better than most of the Jay White matches, probably all the Jay White matches I've seen. And he's worked with Tanahashi and Omega, and I'm saying that this is my favorite Jay White match that I've ever seen. Really good match, really dramatic towards the end, and it was all made satisfying by the fact that Juice Robinson went over. You know, the underdog babyface fought through and won the title, so we did get a major title change on this show, and that feels like a big deal. It's like, oh, good for Juice. And I'll be honest, going into the show, this match I was like not that interested in, but by the time it was over, Juice kind of won me over quite a bit, and I was happy to see him win the title. So they clearly did something right. So yeah, I really like this. All of it. I thought it was a really good match. Next time, don't piss off the announcers, but other than that, I thought the match was really enjoyable. And that leads me into the main event. Kenny Omega defending the IWGP Heavyweight title against Cody. I figured that Omega was going to retain because he just won the belt, and there's no way that Cody's beating him, in his first title, in Omega's first title defense. But as a payoff to the Cody Omega feud, I thought this worked out very, very well. It was my favorite match on the show. Nice, intense, violent stuff where they did some crazy stuff to each other. Like when they brought out a table and a ladder, and the spots they did with those, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's crazy. Of course, no one's getting disqualified for some reason, but I thought this was a very good grudge match / title match, and one that served as a perfect payoff to the feud, with both guys basically almost killing each other for over half an hour in a very exciting match. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Cody has said that he's going to be taking time off after this, so he lost here. He's also stopped dyeing his hair blonde. People are speculating that he is going to be in... I've heard this thrown around. People have speculated that he's going to show up in the next season of Arrow, which I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's great that he has like a working relationship and he gets along with Stephen Amell, because I think there can be some crossover appeal there. I mean, maybe Stephen Amell will be all in. Who knows? But... yeah, I thought this main event was very good and highlighted the strengths of both men very well. I liked having the Bucks at ringside to kind of react to all of this and kind of like sell like how much these two guys that they like were killing each other. I mean, they're promoting a show with Cody, and they've got a really close bond to Omega, so this is like, you got the impression it's like, oh my God, this is killing them to have to sit there and watch this. But it was all said and done. Omega got the win with the one-winged angel. And after finally defeating Cody, they shook hands after the match. He helped Cody to his feet, and it looks like the Bullet Club is fully fixed and is fully fine, and all is right with the world, right? Everything's okay. They've mended the fence, and everything's okay. Cody goes to the back, and the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, come out with King Haku, their dad, and celebrate with Omega and the Bucks. They get on the stage, and the Gorillas of Destiny and King Haku beat the ever-living crap out of Kenny Omega and the Bucks. They rip off their Bullet Club shirts to show shirts saying the Firing Squad, so I don't know if that's the Bullet Club Wolf Pack, the official Wolf Pack of the Bullet Club, but they beat the ever-living shit out of them, and the first thought that popped in my head right away, Cody sent them out there to do this. This is Cody. Cody's the one doing this. And then one by one, members of the Bullet Club would come out. Marty came out at one point. Chase Owens came out. Takahashi came out. Yujiro Takahashi, that is. And they all got their asses kicked. The Gorillas of Destiny and Haku just beat the shit out of them. And then Cody comes out, and it looks like they're going to side with Cody, but then they wallop him too and leave him laying. So these three guys, a father and his two sons, have broken from the Bullet Club and left all the bodies laying, including the elite members. And we've still got members of the Bullet Club. It's like, all right, where's Bad Luck Fale going to fall in this? Where's Hangman Page was one of the ones that got beat up. So there's a lot of guys. It's like, oh God, whose loyalties are going to lie where? And we're going to start drawing the battle lines, and we're going to get Firing Squad versus Bullet Club. This could be great. And a really intense, shocking segment to close the show. And now we got to find out, why did the Gorillas of Destiny do this? Are they upset that Kenny and Cody were acting like children and fighting with each other? Because I think it was Tama Tonga started yelling that at the stage. It's like, you two fighting each other, you ruined the Bullet Club and blah, 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 all this other stuff. So is that their motivation, to King Haku get in their ear and tell them it's like, you're your own men, you don't have to follow these chumps? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, but I'm very intrigued in seeing where this goes. And this could be the boost that the Gorillas of Destiny needed, because they've been getting better for a while, like as a team. They've been slowly but surely like getting up to that top tier of like one of the top teams in New Japan. But because they're in the Bullet Club, they're kind of in the shadow of the Bucks. They ain't the Bullet Club anymore, so here we go. We can get Gorillas of Destiny versus the Young Bucks for the IWGP Tag Team titles. We could get Again, if Bad Luck Fale joins them, we could get Bad Luck Fale versus Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page, and you know, there could be other men that join this thing that we don't even know about yet. So a lot of intriguing things going on here, and I'm very excited about it. So to sum it up, I think New Japan's G1 special from San Francisco was a very good show, and I highly recommend checking it out. The weakest thing on the show was the commentary, but most of the matches delivered. I'd say I enjoyed every match on their show, actually, to some degree. And the ending was awesome, so definitely worth your time. I highly recommend it. So, before I sign off for today, I wanted to do one more preview for a show that I'm actually more excited for than Extreme Rules, and that is, believe it or not, Impact Wrestling Slammiversary 16. You know, the little engine that could, the TNA, GFW, Impact Wrestling, somehow is still alive. And to be perfectly honest, I've been watching some of the shows heading into this pay-per-view. And by the way, this pay-per-view is scheduled for the Sunday after next. So this Sunday you're getting Extreme Rules, and then the next Sunday you're getting Slammiversary, for those of you who are planning on checking out both shows. I gotta be honest, watching the show, I'm actually kind of digging some of the things that they're doing. I really like the Pentagon-Sami Callihan feud. I'm enjoying the character development for Eddie Edwards. The Madison Rayne comeback story is actually pretty solid. The LAX split is actually pretty cool. You know, it's like, I don't want to say that Impact is good again, but for right now, they're doing some things that are intriguing me, and I want to see if they can keep that going. Deliver a solid pay-per-view here and then continue to do solid shows, because if they can get to a point where Impact Wrestling just deliver solid shows that I can enjoy on a weekly basis, I'll be okay with that. They don't have to be as big as WWE, but I'll take solid wrestling anywhere I can get it. Going over the card, we have a... okay, this match isn't official yet, but I'm expecting something like Homicide and Hernandez versus... Santana and Ortiz, kind of old LAX versus new LAX, with Conan in one corner and King in the other corner, just to fulfill the LAX Civil War thing that they're doing. But we also have a Fatal 4-Way match, Phoenix versus Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo / Morrison / Nitro, versus Rich Swann versus Taiji Ishimori. This should be a good filler match. This should be like a good undercard filler match involving 4 guys who are completely insane and do crazy stuff. So I expect this to be a good match. I think this will be fun. I would expect Impact to win since he's been off TV, or off of Impact TV for a while now, so this could be a nice return for him. But yeah, I expect that to be a pretty good match. Then for the Knockouts title, we have Su Yung defending against Madison Rayne. I expect Su Yung to retain, but like I said, I am liking the Madison Rayne comeback story. I think that that's been fairly well done, and throwing Allie and Tessa Blanchard into the mix and giving Madison Rayne a string of wins heading into the show was a nice solid story to tell. I expect Su Yung to retain. You might get a return of Rosemary at this. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't know how the match will be. I'm not completely sold on Su Yung, to be perfectly honest, but you've got a story that I'm invested in, so maybe they can turn that into something. Who knows? Then for the X Division title, we've got Matt Sydal defending against Brian Cage, who has been a beast lately. I mean, well, Brian Cage, I loved him in Lucha Underground, so, and he's still great in Lucha Underground. He's going to be facing Pentagon for the title, it appears, at some point soon. Again, Dish Network and Univision, get your shit together so I can watch Impact Wrestling on the regular again, but yeah, I think this could be a really good match. I think Brian Cage is a type of heavyweight that fits in very well with X Division guys, because he can throw around, they can bump for him, but he can also do crazy stuff like moonsaults to kind of match athleticism with them. So I think this could be like one of the better matches on the show. I'm going to pick Brian Cage to win the title, actually. Then we have a House of Hardcore Rules match, Eddie Edwards taking on Tommy Dreamer. Like I said, I'm enjoying the character development for Eddie, where they basically... His feud with Sami Callihan got so intense and so violent, and he got so crazy and rabid and animal-like that he's basically turned heel, and now he's snapping at everyone in his personal life, and that led to him turning on Tommy Dreamer. And now they're going to have this House of Hardcore Rules match to settle the score. Now, Tommy Dreamer doesn't excite me, to be perfectly honest, but I am liking the character development for Eddie Edwards, and hopefully they can turn this into something bigger and better for Eddie down the road. I think Eddie has to win here. Hopefully he does, and they're able to get a good match out of Dreamer, and then they can do something substantial with Eddie moving forward. Next up, we have the match that I'm most interested in. Pentagon Jr. versus Sami Callihan in a mask versus hair match. Like I said, I've been enjoying this feud. I've liked the promos that they've cut on each other. I like the segment where OVE and Sami Callihan took Pentagon's mask. I like the segment from this week's Impact where Sami Callihan came out dressed as Pentagon to make it look like he was going to save Phoenix from OVE, and then he just attacked Phoenix. It's like, nope, I was Sami Callihan the whole time, just being a troll, using the same mask that he took from Pentagon. So, yeah, I think this is a good feud, and I think this, from an intrigue standpoint, this is my favorite match on the card. Hopefully it delivers. I just love Pentagon. I think the guy's ridiculously cool and just very good. I'll watch him do just about anything. One of the reasons I enjoy Lucha Underground, and he's been a reason for me to enjoy Lucha Underground for quite a while now. And yeah, I think this should be the best match on the show, assuming everything goes well. But again, we shall see. I'm loving the feud. Hopefully they can turn that into something meaningful come pay-per-view time. And then we have the main event, Austin Aries versus Moose for the Impact World title. Not the most dynamic match on paper. You throw that pairing at me and I'm just like, really? That's your main event? But they've done some interesting bits on the show where they go into Moose's backstory and his athletic career that ultimately led him to pro wrestling, and Austin Aries is allowed to just respond and be a dick about it, like saying, it's like, I knew I was going to be great and I didn't have to fail at one career to make it in this one. I succeeded in my first career choice and all that other stuff. So yeah, I think some of those segments have been really good. Have been good at making Aries look like a dick and making Moose a little bit more relatable and sympathetic. So hopefully that can translate into making the world title match more interesting. I hope it does. I would be very surprised if Moose won the title, so I'm going to pick Aries to win and retain. But hopefully they're able to have a good match with each other. I like Moose. I mean, I do like the guy. I just don't know if Aries is the right opponent for him. But again, come pay-per-view time, we shall see. So that is Slammiversary. Hopefully it's a good show. Got quite a bit, almost 2 weeks until the show actually happens. But I wanted to get the preview out there because I don't know when I'm going to have time to talk about it. But yeah, got Extreme Rules coming up. We've got Slammiversary coming up. G1 Climax is starting soon. Can't wait for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And like I've told you at the start of the video, I've got a lot of videos lined up for you guys, for you to enjoy. So the next few weeks are going to be busy for me, but hopefully enjoyable for all of you. But that is all I have for you now. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, y'all have a good one.